So you've probably heard that famous quote, right? The one that calls compound interest the eighth wonder of the world? It's often pinned on Einstein. And it's a huge claim. But what if I told you that this powerful financial idea is also deeply biblical? Today we're going to look at how this whole concept isn't really about greed at all. It's about a powerful, ancient principle of wise stewardship. So let's get into it.
All right, here's the game plan. First, we're going to tackle that eighth wonder claim head-on and see how it connects to a biblical worldview. Then, we'll break down the simple mechanics of how it all actually works. After that, we'll get to the secret ingredient that makes it so powerful, and that's time. We'll also talk about that fine line between using this for wisdom versus letting it slip into greed. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at what this kind of faithful stewardship really looks like in our lives.
Okay, so let's start right there with that huge attention-grabbing claim. The eighth wonder of the world. Is that just some clever marketing slogan to sell you a financial product? Or is there something really true and powerful hiding inside that idea?
It's a question that really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? For most people, compound interest is just a financial term. It's just a way to make money. But what happens when we look at it through a totally different lens, the lens of faith? Well, the answer might just surprise you.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. The idea of steady, multiplying growth, it's not some modern invention from Wall Street. It's actually a mirror of principles you see all over the Bible: faithfulness, multiplication, and that big one, stewardship. It's all about managing what you've been given wisely for the long haul.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. How does this growing the growth engine actually work? Don't worry, we're going to keep it super simple and just focus on the core idea that makes everything tick.
The key is right there in the definition. It's when your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning their own returns. Think about it like this. Simple interest is like getting a paycheck for your initial investment. That's it. But compound interest, that's when your paycheck starts getting its own paycheck. It's what creates that unstoppable snowball effect.
And this simple chart just shows you the difference so clearly. Look at year one. They're exactly the same, right? No difference. By year two, you see a tiny little gap. But then, notice what happens. The space between those two columns gets wider and wider every single year. That accelerating gap is the magic of compounding in action. It starts off small, but give it time and it becomes absolutely massive.
So, if that incredible acceleration is the power, what's the fuel? What's the engine? You might think it's a huge pile of money, but it's not. The real fuel, the secret ingredient, is something else entirely.
And here it is. The most important factor isn't how much you start with. It's how long you stay faithful. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The person who consistently puts away a little bit year after year will almost always end up with more than the person who throws in a huge amount for just a short time. It is all about the long game.
And right here, we see that direct parallel in Scripture. This isn't just some smart financial strategy. It's a principle of faithfulness. The discipline it takes to manage a little bit, day in and day out, is exactly what prepares you to handle much more later on. It's a system that rewards faithfulness, not just a one-time lucky break.
Now, of course, a tool this powerful can be used for good or for bad. It's like fire, right? It can warm your home or burn it down. It's completely neutral. And that's where wisdom becomes absolutely essential.
And this just lays it out so clearly. There are two sides to this coin. When you invest, that accelerating growth we saw in the chart is working for you. It's your friend building your assets. But when you carry high-interest debt, like on a credit card, that exact same powerful force flips and starts working against you, digging the hole deeper and deeper, faster and faster every single. And the Bible is so incredibly direct about this danger. The borrower is slave to the lender. Wow. That isn't just a bit of financial advice. It's a deep spiritual warning. Being trapped by that kind of compounding debt just robs you of your freedom, of your peace. It is a heavy, heavy burden to carry.
So, let's be clear. Understanding this stuff isn't about having some worldly obsession with money. It's about being responsible. Think about the parable of the talents. The master praised the servants who put his money to work and made it grow. He condemned the one who was just fearful and buried it in the ground. The lesson is that we're called to be wise and productive with what we're given, not passive.
Okay, and this brings us to what I think is the most important part of this whole conversation, the why. We've talked about the what and the how, but now let's get into the why. What does this kind of faithful stewardship actually look like in action? Why should a person of faith even care about this stuff? What's the real goal?
See, the goal isn't just a bigger number in a bank account. That's not the point. The point is what that financial health allows you to do. It means less stress, which frees you up to focus on your purpose. It creates the margin in your life for radical generosity and to help with missions. It lets you support your family and your church without worry. And maybe most importantly, it gives you the freedom to live a life of service, not just a life of survival.
And this is the foundation for everything. At the end of the day, it's all His. We're not the owners here. We're just the managers, the stewards. Our only job is to manage His resources well, for His purposes. And when you really get that, it shifts your whole perspective. It's not about accumulation for yourself. It's about allocation for the kingdom.
You know, this is such a fascinating way to look at it. Think about what it takes to make compounding work for you. You need patience, you need discipline and self-control, you need long-term thinking. Those aren't just good money habits, they are literally spiritual fruits. So in a very real way, the practice of wise stewardship actually helps build a God-honoring character in us.
So what's the single most expensive choice you can make? It's not investing in the wrong thing, it's not starting with too little money, it's simply waiting. Just waiting to start. It feels safe, it feels comfortable, but it is unbelievably costly because time is the one thing you can never ever get back. Every year you wait is a year of potential growth that's just gone forever.
So, after all this, how do you actually begin? It really is this simple. 3 things. Number 1, start small. Just start with what you have. Number 2, start early, like today if you can. And number 3, the most important one, stay consistent. That steady faithfulness is the key that unlocks all the power over the long haul.
Because in the end, it all comes down to this. This isn't just about a financial formula. It's a spiritual principle. When our faith, expressed through consistent action, meets the unstoppable force of time, growth is almost always the result. So the real question for every single one of us is this: how will you steward yours?